Global affairs analyst Michael Bociurkiw is a former spokesperson for the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, and he is in Odessa, Ukraine. Good to see you again. Thanks so much for being here with us. So we don't have many details about how the deal will actually be structured, but what can you tell us about what Ukraine is likely giving up and what it's likely getting back in return here?
Sure. Good to be with you again, Kim. Well, the details are very thin, as Jeff Zelensky and others have reported. I think what Ukrainians fear the most is that it's gotten into the head of the Americans that Ukraine is open for business, but everyone here is asking at what cost. And, it's well understood here that a lot of these resources that Trump can't seem to get out of his mind are not easily accessible. A lot of them are actually near the front line. A lot of them are in zones occupied by the Russians. And I can tell you, from my time in 2014, 2015, being with the OSCE, we were in those areas where a lot of these rare earth elements are in the ground. And the infrastructure there was even dilapidated at that time. So good luck trying to get it out of the ground. The other thing that's really important here is, as mentioned in the reporting, the lack of security guarantees. Ukraine doesn't want to give away these resources for nothing. And that's on top of many people here thinking that, why do we owe the United States anything? After all, a lot of the wealth actually stayed in the U.S. and form of production there. But also Ukrainians, until this time, have thought that they're not only defending their own country, but also Western democracy. And one more quick thing, if this deal is to go ahead on the scale that is talked about, as one Ukrainian opposition leader said yesterday, it will take tectonic changes in Ukrainian legislation. And trust me, nothing moves quickly here through the Ukrainian parliament.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. So the details of the deal are still sort of dependent on further conversations between President Zelensky and Trump. Now, the relationship seems to have improved after Trump called Zelensky a dictator, but it's still, imagine hard to base the future of your nation on the mercurial mood of President Trump.
Yeah, well, how convenient it is to have sudden amnesia and forget you called someone a dictator. That did not go over very well here. And also, Mr. Trump, I'll remind everyone, said Ukraine could one day be part of Russia. But I think Mr. Zelensky would be very wise to follow up on the visits of Mr. Macron and Mr. Starmer in terms of the charm offensive. I don't know how you match unprecedented visit, a state visit from the king, but perhaps Mr. Zelensky could invite Mr. Trump to the Chernobyl nuclear power plant zone. It's a popular tourist site after all, and he can see what's going on there. But I think the White House will try to keep the outlines of this deal deliberately vague because Mr. Trump seems so bent on presenting a deal to his base that, look, this is what I achieved for the American taxpayer, because things have not been going well for him on the foreign affairs file in the Middle East, Afghanistan, and elsewhere.
So I want to talk about the European commitment to providing ongoing military support for Ukraine. Is it realistic and sustainable, especially given Trump's comments that the U.S. wouldn't support European troops if Russia attacked them? Here's the former leader of the British Liberal Democratic Party speaking to CNN earlier.
Britain and the rest of Europe are now extremely alarmed that they're completely at opposite position from our traditional allies. And we're having to prepare for the fact that the transatlantic alliance is over and that Europe is going to have to defend itself.
I mean, is he right here? What do you make of that in the context of European security guarantees for Ukraine?
Yeah, well, first of all, Mr. Trump was trying to present any sort of U.S. backstop or security guarantee as U.S. workers basically being a human shield, that, all of these workers will come here, contractors or whatever, and the Russians won't fire on them. I don't think it works that way in reality. But in terms of Europe picking up the slack, no way. No way, because the United States provides so much that the Europeans don't have, things like intelligence, the Patriot missile defense systems that protect cities like Odessa, the nearby port, and other cities in Ukraine. This is, I think, the #1 concern of the Ukrainians after being so badly ripped off in their minds in the 1990s with the Budapest Memorandum, where they handed their nuclear stockpiles over to the Russians in return for security guarantees signed by the United States. It didn't happen, obviously. So that's a big, big concern here. And one more thing, I mean, Zelensky's popularity is a lot higher than Mr. Trump's, but if this deal goes sideways, and it very well could, it could cost him a lot of support here in Ukraine.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Michael Bociurkiw in Odessa, Ukraine. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.